Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Take Two on another episode of We Watch Shudder. My name is JD. Who's here with me?
It's Michelle with anxiety.
It's Michelle. We made it. Hey, to be fair, we only made it about a minute into that take one before we realized we needed to start again, and so that's super cool. Man, it would be awesome if technology would stop being a pain in the ass. Would you not agree, Michelle?
I would definitely agree. It has been months since we recorded without any audio issues for a single episode.
I don't know what's going on.
Who did you piss off? Who cursed us?
Why? What makes you so certain it was me, Michelle?
Because it's definitely not me. I'm an angel.
Oh, well.
So, process of elimination. I know I'm perfect.
Yeah, well, if you say so. Anyway.
I do. As a perfect, infallible being, I know my judgment is sound.
Perfect and infallible.
In other news, I have a therapy appointment scheduled, and we're definitely going to talk about that.
And Michelle is going to destroy this podcast by going to seek professional help.
Yep.
It's been real, Michelle.
Take all my anxiety away after just one appointment. I'm convinced.
Please don't get me wrong. I fully support your decision to prioritize your mental health, but I just want everybody to know that when the podcast goes tits up, it's not because of anything I did. That's all I'm saying.
That's fair. Yeah, no, I am definitely way funnier when I'm unmedicated, so it's kind of a
bummer.
Wow. It's true.
To be fair, I'm very medicated and I'm still fucking hilarious. So, you know. Michelle, did you see? Yes,
opposite.
You did. You were the first one who commented on it. I saw one of the funniest, as my buddy Keith Bergman said, one of the meanest, but also still funniest jokes I've ever seen, especially being a person who comes from 12 years in stand-up comedy. This guy, I forget his name, and I apologize. It's on my Facebook. I can go find out. In fact, I'm going to do that while I'm saying it, but he had this post, and basically he said, talking about people who are like, yeah, I do stand-up comedy. I'm funny because I've had a lot of trauma, and it's all a coping mechanism. And the dude's like, I don't know, I don't mean to add on to your trauma or nothing, but you're not funny either. And it's just like, what the fuck? What? I just rolled, and then Michelle was like, Jesus, just tag me next time. And I was like, Michelle... here's the quote. His name is Mohanad El-Sheikhi. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that right. Mohanad El-Sheikhi. I love when someone is like, I'm funny because I have trauma, and it's a coping mechanism, and it's like, okay, not to add to your trauma, but you're not funny. But, and then Michelle was like, just tag me next time, and I was like, look, if I was going to tag everybody this applied to, I would be here all day, and that's the God's honest truth. Hey, we made it to the therapy portion right off the bat, Michelle.
Oh, great. All episodes going forward will be the therapy portion, because I will just... be here unleashing everything that I talked to my therapist about. I did the intake paperwork online today, and I think they were just like expecting a paragraph answer for each question of like, why are you here? What are you hoping to accomplish? And I took 2 hours and thoroughly explained everything.
Of course you did.
If I'm going to pay per hour, I want this lady up to speed by the time I walk in that door.
No, that's
so she can
fair.
be like, okay, tell me about your traumatic therapist experience when you were 14 so that I better understand the delicate line that I can't cross.
Well,
okay,
yeah,
good.
And you better, I mean, if you put in the work to give her that information, you know, or him, I guess, I don't know.
It's a lady.
It's a lady.
It's a lady.
Anyway, Michelle, here's an interesting concept I actually wanted to ask. Do you think that maybe in order to maintain the podcast's quality, but also in the interests of therapy, you could kind of use each episode of the show as like a test run for the things you want to talk to your therapist about at the next appointment.
Yeah, I'll just I'll treat it like an open mic before a comedy showcase.
Right.
And I'll show up with all my worst but new material. Nobody will laugh, and I will decide that it's good enough for Wednesday's appointment anyway. I'll be like, it's the audience's fault.
Right.
I'm mostly concerned that I'm going to go to this therapist and bust out a lot of dark humor, and she's going to have me admitted. My last therapist 8 years ago understood that I am just a very dark person. But this one she might take a moment to be like, why are we joking about suicide? And I'll be like, because otherwise I do it.
Some people probably don't find that funny, but
no, but it's the truth for me. Like, what is it like? Those who can't teach, those who shouldn't talk.
Oh,
well,
those who can't teach, administrate. That was a joke about principles.
Oh, I have a medical administration degree, so I thought it was a deep cut.
Oh, well, anyway, we're talking about the demon disorder today, guys.
Yeah, we are.
I guess we probably should. Hey, if this is your first time tuning in, thank you. Hi, we watch Shudder. And most of the time we watch Shudder, and that is the case today. We got a brand new Shudder original that we're here to talk about. Michelle, what is this brand new Shudder original that we are here to talk about?
It is called The Demon Disorder.
The Demon Disorder. For the longest time, I thought it was the Demon Disease, and it's the Demon Disorder.
Very different things.
I'm not sure. Well, is it, though? I guess we're going to find out as we talk about this one a little bit more deeply.
I don't have bipolar disease. There's a difference. That would be very squelchy. We all know it.
Hey, speaking of squelchy, not to derail things, but it was the wildest thing. I literally just happened to go over to YouTube a couple of days ago to throw on 36 Chambers by the Wu-Tang Clan for like the millionth time in the last few years. And right there on my main page with suggestions, there was a band called Squelch, and it was a new single that they had just released from an upcoming album they're releasing on Halloween. And they've had one other demo / EP release. It's a 4-track job. And if you like brutal caveman riff death metal, it's dope as shit. And then while in the process of talking up this rad new band Squelch that I just found, I found another band that's called Squelching, and they're like a pig squeal deathcore kind of thing. If that's more your vibe, also pretty dope. And also have one EP sort of I think it's a 3 or 4 track job just released earlier this year. 2 brand new bands, one called Squelch, one called Squelching. The one called Squelching has its crazy death metal logo, but then also at the bottom they do the Squelching as a subtitle. They put the brackets around it and it says Squelching. Look, I don't want to jump the gun here or make any brazen assumptions, but are you out there? Squelching? Maybe Squelch? Are you out there? Are you listening?
We're definitely out there. But are they listeners who
follow
the Squelch files? We need to collaborate.
We need to find out. Anyway, yeah, if you like caveman death metal, check out Squelch. If you like more deathcore kind of stuff, check out Squelching. They're pretty dope bands. I'm sorry you mentioned Squelch, that this would be, I don't even know how it came up, and then I went off on a tangent. Please.
As you do.
Yeah, it's a thing.
I just zone out. It's fine. And then you eventually pause in a way that I know, like, come back. It's like in meetings when I know, like, oh, they're about to ask me a question. Tune back in.
Michelle has figured out my rhythms and my patterns. Anyway, what were we talking about?
Well, we were talking about the demon disorder.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not the demon
Should we
disease.
read the descripy script from IMDb?
Yes, please do. The edited descripy script from IMDb.
Yes, the condensed version is tells the story of Graham, Jake, and Philip Riley and their deceased father. Their paths collide when a family secret is discovered. And then we're ending it there because it gets a little too spoilery.
The Demon Disorder.
Yeah. 2024, hour 26 minutes. JD.
A Shudder original, I believe.
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure.
I believe
We should probably verify. Yes, it's a Shudder original. I know.
No, I don't wanna. That sounds like extra effort.
No, Michelle, I'm telling you, I just verified it. I'm looking right.
Yeah, but now I need to double check in case you're wrong.
Oh my God, Michelle
I'm not going
doesn't
to.
take
Okay.
me seriously
JD.
as a human being.
Well, that's a completely different subject.
That's fair.
JD.
Yes, Michelle, yes.
Please, for God's sake, 10 minutes in, give me your spoiler-free thoughts.
It's actually 11 minutes in, Michelle. Spoiler-free thoughts.
Well, actually.
Okay, to be fair. That was kind of what I just did. Anyway, Demon Disorder. I tell you what, once I figured out what kind of movie this was, I pretty well enjoyed it. It took me way too long to figure out what kind of movie it was. I don't want to give away too much, but it's just the percentages, right? Like, it's the ratios in the sandwich weren't quite there for me. I would have liked a little bit less of the first 45 to 55 minutes, and I would have liked a little bit more of the last 25 or so. But no, this was enjoyable. Good way to kick off the big push into scary season, spooky season. Some quality practical effects here, some real good goop that I really appreciated, and an appearance by Denethor, and that's always cool. I'm giving this one 2.5 skulls.
2.5. Okay, it sounded like you liked it more than a 2.5. I am surprised.
Michelle, 2.5 is right down the middle, Michelle.
I know. I thought you were leaning more on the positive. That's why I'm saying, like, oh, okay. I thought you were gonna like it more. Is what I'm also getting at. Like,
no,
I know.
I mean, I can
things
clarify
about
also. Like, so this is what I would call, or what I've recently started calling adventure horror. Right? They're not trying to. I mean, there's a story here. It's not without story, but they're also not trying to dig real deep into traumatic familial themes and that sort of thing. And so I don't know. It was good, but it's also a good version of something that for me is just, like, I wouldn't seek this kind of thing out, but I also don't regret having seen it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it made sense originally. You just are very concerned that I misunderstood you. It is okay. 2.5 is a nice middle. I just expected, because I know what you like, I thought you were going to go 3.5 and a 4. So, like,
wow.
Yeah. I know what you like, so I'm
okay.
surprised. But
would you like to tell us your spoiler-free thoughts, please, Michelle?
Yeah, I guess.
So I can actually take a bite of my sandwich now?
Oh, you actually have a sandwich as you're talking about your sandwich ratio. You're like, what do I have in front of me that I can turn into a comparison of this movie? Oh, yeah, it's like this delicious sandwich. God, I want a sandwich now. Okay, so the Demon Disorder. It did some new things, and I'm always happy to see something new. Based on what I know about any movie about demons, I went into this with some expectations, and basically none of those were true. It's very slimy on occasion. I still am not clear on several things, but I think this is one where you have to give it a second watch. You're not really gonna get it. I mean, you might enjoy the practical effects, which I did, but like, why for a lot of it? But overall, I enjoyed it. I mean, I want to go watch it a second time and see what the fuck for a lot of that. I want some questions answered. It's not like that was a confusing story and I never want to watch it again kind of situation. It's more of a, okay, I'm confused. I'll watch this with a friend and then try to unconfuse myself. So yeah, the effects sell this one for sure. I think everybody should watch it just for the effects alone because that is, it's beautiful. There's some really beautiful, gory things going on. So I am actually going a 3.5 for this.
3.5 for Michelle, 2.5 for JD. That's a 3 average. That's not too bad.
That it is. It is. I'm in algebra this semester because I'm going back to college, and now I'm like really good at adding. So yeah, 3.5 plus 2.5, that's definitely 6. Divided by 2, that's the average. It's a 3. Wow. I'm gonna ace all my tests.
Look at you go.
I know. I'm gonna be valedictorian.
What's the median?
I don't remember. We talked about this like 6 months ago, and I never figured it out.
The median is also 3. It's the halfway point between the highest value and the lowest value.
Yeah, that's it. I was like, I know it can change if there are more than 2 values, but I did not remember. Okay.
Also, there is no mode because there are only 2 values and they're different. So
I could go for an a la mode.
Oh, shit. Michelle, should we get into the spoiler section for this movie?
Yeah, but now I'm just thinking about pi and algebra, so I'm in my happy place. Let's go. Let's get into spoiler section while I'm in my happy place.
Let's do
pi
it.
and algebra.
Guys, if you want to see the movie before we tell you everything that happens or most of the things that happen, hit the pause button, then come back when you're done. Michelle.
Yes.
I, see, much like you, I didn't want to talk too much about it in the spoilery section, but much like you, I am not 100% certain I know exactly what was happening here.
Fair.
And so I have been looking forward to this moment where I ask you to summarize the plot for this film because I was like, oh man, Michelle's going to be able to fill in so many gaps for me. And now I'm just thinking, oh man, maybe Michelle, maybe there are more gaps here than I realized, or maybe they're not fill-inable. I don't know. Michelle, if you wouldn't mind, for Jenna and everyone like her, please summarize the plot for us.
Absolutely. Before I do that, I did have a thought pop into my head, and that is, I said that I like pi and algebra, but algebra is about pi as well. So I guess I just like pi and pi. P-I-E and P-I. And I could not let that go, even though it's kind of lame when you say it 30 seconds later. It was a thought. It was scratching my brain. I had to get it out. Okay, speaking of things
Michelle,
scratching you from the inside.
you want to talk about things that need to get out now. How many digits can you recite pi out to?
3.14. The only ones that matter.
Oh, no, Michelle. No.
That's all I care about. Why would I care about the 1,000th?
Okay.
I only care about the 100th and the 10th.
That's fair. Go ahead, summarize.
Okay. Oh, fuck. I was trying to delay it. Okay. The Demon Disorder. They're Australian. That's really cool. Any movie automatically better if it takes place in Australia, New Zealand, anywhere around that place. There were no creatures that were trying to kill them in this one. Instead, they kind of killed the creatures and made them very gooey. We start with a cow giving birth to a goddamn monstrosity. It looks like it was just half developed. It did not cook for long enough. It is definitely still squishy and soft in the middle. So they're like, this is a pretty fucked up cow, and they kill it. And that's the right choice. I'm sure PETA would be pissed because they'd be like, that cow's life still has importance, but no, that wasn't going to make a good burger. What am I saying? Anyway, there's a guy, and he's a mechanic, and he has 2 brothers, and their father died. How? We don't know yet. And there's some weird shit going on, like their cows are getting goopy. And so then he goes out to the family farm, and the one brother gets possessed and he gets very crickety crackety, and then it's like the father is possessing him, and then the I can't remember if it's the same brother or a different brother. He's got a sore in his shoulder area that definitely looks like an eyeball that like blinks when he pokes it and stuff. So they've just got like a lot of weird shit going on. Oh, first they pull, like, they yoink one of the things out of the brother's mouth that looks kind of like a tongue, and they put it in a cake pan, which is also very funny. I guess maybe that's why I'm in the mood for pie. This movie just made me very hungry. Everything looks so delicious and appetizing. So they're inspecting this thing and they're all like, what the fuck? But it's Australia, so they're like, oi, what the fuck, mate? I have no idea how Australians talk. As far as I know, it's just like kangaroo speech. I have no idea. So there's just shenanigans. And then like the best part, the one lady shows up and then she calls 911 and then the cops show up and they're like, we have to insist that we come in because they're very polite in Australia. Those cops, wow. ACAB except Australian cops. That's all that's all I can tell from this movie. And then the one guy births his father through his shoulder, kind of. And it turns out that they were all supposed to have a pact to kill their father. And I need to go back and rewatch that because I'm very fuzzy about how things actually played out in that situation. But the brothers are all upset at each other. Here's what I do know. If one of the brothers from this film approached me and said, hey, I'm the guy from the demon disorder, the actual guy, not the actor, I would be like, oh shit, do you want my upcoming therapy appointment? Because it sounds like for a lot of reasons, you probably need it. And I feel like that would be my good deed. There's just like, there's a lot going on. I really only paid attention to the effects at a certain point, so I got a little bit lost. But I want to go back and rewatch it. I think I did not know what to expect, very similar to you, of like, what is happening? I didn't expect it to be comedic at all. And it's definitely full of a lot of good comedy. And that's not even mentioned on IMDb. So then I couldn't tell, like, is this supposed to be funny or is this an unintentionally funny thing? So yeah, overall, very squelchy, several squelching subtitles. I cannot tell you what the fuck happened in it, but I am going to watch it a second time and I might have a better idea.
Okay, so similar to you, like, there is a point where I understand part of it, right? Here's what I understand. Something was wrong with their dad. Was it a disease? Was it a demon possession? Was it like a weird body snatcher creature from outer space thing? Apparently, yes. To all three of those. It's some sort of weird... It's all of those things at the same time. And so they end up having to... Like, they decide they're going to kill their dad. They make a pact that they're going to kill him. And then here's the one part that I don't understand is, did they just fail at killing him? And this weird demon thing, like, took over his personality and has been laying dormant? Or why all of a sudden is Philip infected with it? And why is it now specifically his dad and not just another one of these demon things? That part I missed. Same questions. And then, of course... it starts to spread. It gets into Philip. It gets into Graham, who they also call Gracie for some reason. I don't know if that's a common Australian thing. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Are you out there in Australia? Drop us a line. Let us know. And, like, yeah, the goopy effects are rad. Like, the weird eyeball-looking thing in the dude's chest. And there's that gross rash that becomes, like, and the whole birth sequence of that goopy creature over all the different elements of it. Really well done. My biggest question here is, what is this disease demon thing? And what, like, those are the parts that I don't understand. Like, why is it now his father? Where did it come from in the first place? There are details like that this begs me to want to know, and I don't get them. And that was problems for me.
Not so much problems for me, but I do want to go back and see which parts are made clearer on a second watch. I do wish, because you and I both had kind of the same experience of like, what is going on? How am I supposed to feel about this? I don't understand enough to piece together. Like, even just the father story should be something that is somewhat clear of like, how did this pact play out? How did they actually kill him? Like, those things are things that I think one of us at least would have picked up on. But maybe there was so much going on because they're going back and forth between the previous story and now the current story. And I think maybe it just got commingled in a way that my brain did not pick up what was going on. I did message my friend Kate, who is one of my 4 friends who gave birth in August. What are you guys doing? That's too many babies. But I messaged my friend Kate this morning and I said, Kate, I feel like you are most qualified to answer this out of all of my friends. If you suddenly had a thing growing in your shoulder that you had to birth from your shoulder blade, would you have preferred it that way or the way that you did it? And she did ask if the shoulder dilated at all. And I went back and I rewatched that scene so I could properly answer. And I said, not really. The thing does become, it becomes a bigger wound. He can poke at it, but I wouldn't really consider it dilation. And then she said, wow, that might be the only time men can understand what it's like to give birth. I vote we do that. So that is what we've decided. This is human evolution from now on. Sorry.
Let me tell you,
we will be birthing from our shoulders.
Let me tell you, Michelle, when you started telling that story, that is definitely not where I thought it was going to end up. I thought for sure this was just like I was going to ask my friend to see if maybe they could, look at something and explain to me what was going on. And you were just like, no. Would you rather give
it was
birth
like 6
the way
a.m.
you did or this way?
I had an important question. No.
Yeah, I guess the way I would describe this, my issue with the story overall, like I mentioned earlier, so to make it a little bit more clear, all the stuff, about with the flashbacks to stuff with their dad and the interpersonal issues between the brothers and the family, a lot of that, it felt to me like it was trying to, I didn't understand the story it was presenting this. I couldn't figure out the tone is what I'm trying to say. And then all the more, it's not really action-y, but it's kind of adventure-y, right? It becomes a creature feature. There's this monster stuff going on, and they gotta figure out what's going on with this weird infection, and they gotta almost kill their youngest brother, and then there's the monster, and but that all happens in what I'm pretty sure is about 20 to 25 minutes of the movie right at the end. And I feel like I would have enjoyed this a whole lot more if there was a bit more balance there, right? Or if it was a little bit more 50-50. If there was a little bit less of all of the stuff up front and a little bit more, because that's where I feel like this movie excels, is in that last 25 minutes. That's where the vast majority of my favorite stuff is. That's where a lot of those comedy elements that you were talking about that I didn't necessarily pick up on in the early part of the film, that's where I really start to notice a lot of those. I don't know if maybe there just weren't a lot of them earlier on, or if I just wasn't reading them properly because it didn't necessarily feel... it's interesting. This is like second movie in a row that it took me way too long to understand that, oh shit, there's some comedy happening here, and I wasn't even really realizing it. Maybe my radar is off. I don't know. But speaking of the comedy, though, is there a specific moment that you remember that you especially loved in the comedy of this?
The final line about I just gave birth to dad or whatever is gold.
It's fabulous.
That is a great line. But just the mannerisms of the older brother, I can't remember what he says, but he just like shouts things while like walking off scene sometimes that are just like very ridiculous and very funny and very over exaggerated. The whole time that he's analyzing this tongue like creature in the cake pan, what did I say it's called? Like
it's like
thing.
A cake tray, yeah, like a serving tray.
Yeah. So while he's like studying that, all of his stuff is comedic. I'm pretty sure, like, or quite a bit of it. So once I started like realizing like this is deliberate, this isn't like a unintentionally funny thing, then I got on board, and then you just watch him and it's all very funny. Did you have a favorite line before I move on to my
There
other?
were a couple that I wanted to mention because you obviously understand after several years of doing this that the only reason I asked that question is because I want to answer it.
Yep.
I know. I'm such a basic bitch.
Both of us,
oh
just
God,
in different
just
ways.
basic as fuck.
Man, pumpkin spice season. Am I right? I don't
Man,
like pumpkin spice lattes.
I tell you what I am. I am a psychology 101 student's wet dream. and I'm a psychology graduate's just like, oh Christ, this again. That's
I can put you in contact with some people. You can make them famous with their case studies.
So the two things, there's the moment where it finally really fully hit me that, oh yeah, they're actually trying to be funny here deliberately, was that moment where he was like, we gotta get him aggravated. Here, you do it. You're annoying. And he just walks off and he's like, what the fuck? What? Hey, like that. I was like, oh, okay. This is a little bit different kind of attitude than maybe I necessarily thought it was gonna have. But the funniest thing about the movie to me is at the very end when they all just drive off, including this, I believe, 17-year-old girl or maybe 19-year-old girl who is not related to these people at all, talks about her dad and whatnot earlier in the film like she's got her own family, right? She just fucking drives off with these guys into the middle of nowhere for, like, who knows? They're just going off on the lam together.
Actually, that girl, that's one thing that when I rewatch this, I want to clarify, because at the beginning, like the very beginning of the movie, her first conversation with whichever brother, she's talking about her dad, and I thought she was saying it in a way like they were brother-sister. And then later on, you meet his brothers, and that's not the dad that she's talking about. And then later, like even further, she says like, "You're not my brother" to one of the brothers, and I thought they were like half siblings.
Well, in the credits, the three brothers all have the same last name, Riley, and I don't remember what Cole's last name was, but it was not the same as the three brothers.
Yeah, but I have 5 siblings and 3 of us have different last names.
No,
so
I understand.
Yeah.
So
I
maybe
thought that
like
they were
half siblings or something. I don't know.
That's why I said I thought that they were half siblings, but I also think she might just have been talking about her own father, and it just because we hadn't figured out like he has a completely different father.
Yeah,
maybe both were the fathers. Who knows? It's a progressive world.
The impression I definitely got is that she was just a girl who worked at the garage and just got caught up in some shit, and that to me would be incredibly funny. Speaking of the credits, Michelle, did you watch all the way to the end?
Of course not.
Michelle.
Here's the thing. I was going to, but I have changed my Shudder subscription so that it is through Amazon Prime now. I'm sorry, Shudder. The interface bothered me, and Prime is just smoother. And every time I tried to click back into the credits, it would try auto playing the next movie, so I said fuck it.
Okay, that's fair.
I was going to, because I went, there's a lot of time left, I bet there's something, but no, Prime ruined it. Thanks, Bezos.
Yeah, about halfway there's a mid-credits scene where we go back to the house after the brothers and Cole have all run away. and we're like going into the house, and there's like all messy, and there's flies buzzing, and there's like blood on the floor. And then as you pull away, you see that the blood on the floor is becoming like a trail, and then the blood turns into slime, and you follow the slime trail, and then you see just like the tail of one of those things crawl under the bed or under the couch or whatever. And then it goes back into the credits. And then at the very, very end, after the credits are done, when it goes to the black screen, you just hear the demon voice of like the dad shout the name Philip. And then that's like clearly feels like they're setting it up for a sequel, obviously, with the thing going away.
Better not.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It seems like the kind of movie where they would do that, but
I would like same universe, but not a direct sequel. I'm so tired of sequels. Stop it. No more sequels.
Here's a fun question. So this movie is loaded with practical effects, right? There's all sorts of cool models and weird monsters in here. I think obviously the big monster creature, which, first of all, I'm glad we got here because I do want to say...
I've been trying to get here. I've just been waiting.
Fucking Shudder, god damn it. Who is the dickhead who put the big image of this creature from the big finish of the movie right there on the main screen in the promo image? God damn it, could we please stop doing this?
I have no idea what you're talking about because I now watch it through Amazon Prime.
Oh my God.
Things like that.
But this thing was awesome. I guess what I wanted to ask Michelle is, obviously, aside from that, which is the big crowning moment of the film, what was your favorite bit of splatter and gross in this film?
Would it bother you if I answered this question, then never asked for you to answer it? Because I know it's the only reason you're asking.
No.
I love all the effects. I went to look at the director, Stephen Boyle's IMDb page, and this is his first movie that he's directed, but he's done a lot of prosthetic and makeup work on really big movies. And I very openly have always said that it's very rare that a creature in a creature feature type situation lives up to the expectations. This one, absolutely, 100%. Just like my boy, Steven Kostanski. If you're new to the show, Steven has no idea who I am. I'm just a very big fan. Psycho Gorman, #1 horror comedy of all time.
Michelle.
Go watch it. Yeah. My bae, don't tell my husband I said that. Nobody cut that from the episode. But just like him,
absolutely not.
Yeah, where he got his start in like special effects, like doing that work on other things, and then started making movies. I'm kind of hoping we see a similar thing from Stephen Boyle because I do want to see more ideas executed by this person.
Oh yeah.
And also the creature that gets birthed from the shoulder blade was very cute. It was so
yes,
cute.
it was.
I found it like very adorable, even when it was starting to like kind of transform into like this malformed monster thing. Just the way that it was moving, and its head was like kind of cocked to the side. I was like, I think I'm supposed to find this disgusting, but it's kind of cute, like a newborn lamb in a way.
Are you talking about the one that they had to like pry out of Graham's shoulder with a stick at the end when he's in the bathroom and he's gonna kill himself, and they all come running in and knock him down and pry it out of his chest?
The one that when the one brother is talking to the cops, he's like just giving birth in the other room, and then that's the growing.
Yeah, that's the beginning. That's the beginning of the dad monster. That's the one where I was saying like, other than that, what was your?
I know, but I had to point out that it's very cute.
It is.
It is very cute.
So you weren't saying that was your favorite one. Your whole reason for bringing it up was to point out how adorable it is.
Yeah,
and I totally blew it.
Point.
I totally
it's
blew
an important
it.
point. It's Very cute. It's like a little lamb.
I don't listen closely enough,
What
Michelle.
was that?
I don't respect your opinions. I'm sorry.
What was that? I can't hear you. I'm not listening.
Oh, you're so clever and mean.
Oh, sorry. Are you muted?
Oh, no. No, God.
Okay,
JD. Shit, am
I? No, you're not. You're not.
Are you sure?
Well, I am responding to you, so.
Well, just because you can hear me doesn't mean the recorder can.
Oh my God! Don't jinx it. So far, this is. Oh my God! The real horror movie is what's been going on with our audio situation. JD, I have a question for you.
What?
Aside from the big, cute lamb dad birth monster, what was your favorite special effect from the movie?
I don't really have one.
Wait, that's a lie. You have an opinion on everything, especially practical effects.
No, much like the comedy where it was more like what I thought the funniest thing about the movie was, the one gore moment that stands out for me is that moment where Graham goes into the bathroom and he's going to put himself out of his own misery because this thing is in him too and it needs to die. And they all come running in and they decide they pry this thing out of his chest, right? And it is fucking huge. Like, it was taking up a lot of space in his body, and the wound left behind when they pulled it out was enormous. How did he not immediately bleed to death? Like, this man has a gaping wound in his chest. What the fuck? I thought that was delightful that they just said, nope, we're not even going to consider it. It came out and it was just fine. It was like a little octopus. It was like adjusting its body and squeezed out through a tiny hole. It was fine. I just thought that was so ridiculous.
You're implying that octopuses have live birth and they don't. They have egg clusters. How
no,
dare you?
What I'm talking about is how an octopus can squeeze through tiny, tiny, tiny places.
Okay, I see. As long as it can get the beak through.
Keep up with me, Michelle. Come on. I know it's impossible to keep up with me. That's an unfair expectation.
It is almost midnight. I drank a lot of Red Bull.
That's fair.
Michelle,
I have to work at 7 o'clock in the morning, which means I have to be up at about 6 o'clock in the morning. Which means I don't know how much more you have to say about the demon disorder. But I definitely think I could stand to watch it one more time just to make sure I didn't just miss some details because I wasn't paying attention at the right moment. But overall, yeah, it's not a bad film. I definitely want to see what this Stephen Boyle guy does from here. I may go check out some of his other movies he's done effects work on just to see what other kind of cool splattery gooey stuff he's done.
I am going to watch it a second time, and I am expecting to enjoy it more on the second watch.
Sweet.
3.5 was a good solid starter point. I think I missed a lot. That is probably in there, but just kind of confusing on the first watch. So I'll let you know if I find anything like a big revelation, because I'll probably just rewatch it tomorrow like a crazy person.
Also, before we go, holy bloody fucking hell, Michelle, next Friday, it's here. We Watch Shudder presents Hellbender and Where the Devil Roams at the Fargo Theater with John Adams and Toby Poser in attendance for a live recording and Q&A session. We're going to record it that night, Friday the 13th, and it should be up for y'all to listen to right away the next day, Saturday the 14th. We'll see. I don't work that day. I took the day off to make sure we can get it to you guys as quickly as possible. So, cripes, you
don't want to do that and then work your 14-hour shift or whatever it is.
No, it's 16 hours, and I have to do 2 of them in a row with only 8 hours in between. Which reminds me, that's the thing that I need to do. I'm so excited about next week. I love our podcast. We're all having good times. Are you having good times, Michelle?
I think so. Is this a trick question, though?
No, shit just got weird. I'm trying to get out of this episode, and I can't think of a better way to do it. So just say goodnight, Michelle.
Good night, Michelle.
For more horror content, visit WeWatchShudder.com, where you'll find our world-famous, patent-pending Ghoul blog and Squelch files. as well as a schedule of upcoming episodes. Find us on social media at We Watch Shudder on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and I guess Twitter if you're still doing that for whatever reason. You can email us. mail@wewatchshudder.com is the address. mail@wewatchshudder.com. You can even call and leave us a voicemail, 701-566-9510. No, really. 701-566-9510. Give it a shot. See what happens. We Watch Shudder is a production of Rat Factory Media.